Well, I think it's about time for our first big project then, which is simple enough to say, but the execution of it is probably going to be disastrous. But this area that we have in front with our lake, I would like to turn it into our very first agricultural district. So of course, this is then going to involve placing down a lot of farms, as well as farm-related builds, as well as houses and any other infrastructure that we desire. So I have placed down these temporary markers where I think our agricultural district is going to start from. And basically, this entire area that I'm stood in, surrounding the lake, is where we will place all of these farm-related builds in. Which, as you can see, we have quite a lot of space to place in quite a lot of different buildings. And where we have the markers, we will maybe place in a gate just separating this district from the rest of our colony. Well, that sounds like an idea to me, so let's get started. So I'm not entirely sure what type of styles that we will use for our walls as well as our gates to separate our districts. But what I do know is that I want to leave about a 4-block gap, and that should hopefully be big enough for any wall or gate decoration to fit in once we do decide a style for it. Because of the curved nature of the lake, this is also going to make pathing around it a bit awkward, as we will need it a bit diagonal. So that means that any builds that we do place off of the path are going to be quite awkward as well, actually. Well, I know that last time we created our first warehouse for the colony, which is full already, to be honest with you. But for this district, I would like to give it its own warehouse as well, which I'm thinking that we could maybe squeeze it in somewhere in this area. My thinking with the districts is to basically place in a few builds mainly for that district, so it will have its own builder's hut, its own warehouse and couriers, and of course any other builds that we decide to place in there as well. Maybe like a restaurant. Basically, I want all of our districts to be pretty much self-maintained by themselves. So the warehouse style for our agricultural district is going to be of a medieval birch style. And here's the build at tier 1 and at tier 5. A lot more impressive, of course. Well, actually, its shape might come in handy here, because I think it is a lot longer than it is wide, which might just run along the length of the mountainside here pretty nicely. Yeah, you know what? I could see that fitting in there pretty nicely. Okay, that's an idea. Unfortunately, we are outside of our colony's boundary, so for all of these projects we will require putting down a guards tower first. But I think that could be a good first build in here, certainly. Now, simply just to push back the boundary and start taking over some of the land here, I am going to place down these birch guard towers because they're very easy to make and they are very much just temporarily placed. So that one is in the air, but we will go ahead with it, and hopefully that will push back the boundary by quite some margin. Once we start placing down some builds within this area, then the boundary will start growing by itself, and we will place in some more permanent guard towers just to protect the citizens within it. But for now, I just need one of our builders to come over and construct this for us. If I could get up to set the work order for it, at least. So Robert has picked up the build order there for the guards tower, and in fact, Koa is also constructing the fortress style guards tower just behind him, although he is going to require 23 dark oak logs to be brought to him in order to continue, and Robert is requesting 64 dirt, which I'm sure we have inside of our warehouse, but because Kaiser here is feeling unwell at the moment, they will not be delivered to him. You have influenza and you need a carrot and a potato. We do start off with some of those items, so I will give him those, but that's also saying to me that we will need to place down a hospital a lot sooner than later. Right, Kaiser, whatever I'm calling you, I need you to get unsick and back to work. Our builders need some items and I can't be bothered getting them those. Although we are going to require some birchwood for this, so hopefully our lumberjack has collected us some. Yes, he has indeed. We have quite a few of them actually. That's pretty good. And let me guess, son, you're just wanting some shears to continue? Oh, not an axe. I think they now use shears instead of a hoe to cut down all of the leaves. Well, you have them now, so get back to work. On the topic of tools actually, you may have noticed that I've managed to get myself some rather fancy new tools. I have finally ventured down into this cave system that we're above and was able to get myself quite a lot of diamonds, and have then spent an eternity out at this other village just breeding out some new librarian idiots. So I am very happy to have some rather decent tools to use now, and also whilst I was heading over to that village, we have just gotten word of our very first raid, where I am very interested in seeing exactly where the raiders are coming from. Pirates to the southeast. That is just across the desert there, and in fact I can see the starts of their pirate ship. Well, let's go murder some pirates. It's been a long while since I've had to deal with any pirate raids, but I'm pretty sure these guys aren't that tough. And all we really need to do is take out the spawner on their ship. But before we do, I am going to strip down their ship and take everything from it. Although they are now starting to escape, so, well, let's just take that out and go protect our idiots. If the ship is still there when we return, of course I will get some more goodies from it. Hello friend, goodbye friend, and that is the raid complete. Although hopefully I can get back to the ship before it sails off, just to loot the rest of the resources from it. And awesome, we made it. Well, I maybe could have planned that out a bit better and removed the top part of it first before the bottom part. But we've still managed to get ourselves quite a bit of loot here, so that's all that really matters. Right, Bob, that should be everything for you then, son. 100% supplied, perfect. Now, get to work. And Koa, of course, is going to require a lot of dark oak wood. Not sure if we have too much of it left. It doesn't seem that way, but at least it is very easy to obtain. So that is then Koa, 100% supplied as well. And whilst they both get on with their builds there, I will head back over to the pirate ship and just grab the rest of the stuff from it. Maybe then we will get rid of the health bar from the top of the screen. That's a lot better then. And it has just sailed away. Perfect. Okay then, Koa, how are we getting on here? This is a good start. Good stuff, son. We are 25% of the way complete with this already, and that is climbing up pretty quickly. We will need some more citizens in to become guards for us, but you're doing a good job there. Right then, Bob, how are we getting on over here? We have made a start at least as well. We are also 25% complete with this. Nicely done, chaps. Good work. And the reason that I make these builds usually just up in the air like that is so that they don't need to clear out anything underneath so that it should just be a very straightforward, quick build for them to make, and equally so whenever they come back out to deconstruct it once we don't need it anymore. But essentially, that is exactly what we are going to do just around the rest of this area here, just until the boundary is pushed out as much as we need it to. But that's Koa just finished off the fortress style guard tower there, nice one. And that's Bob just finished off the plain birch one there as well. Good stuff, guys, and already I can see that has pushed back the boundary by quite some margin. So same again then, Bob, let's go ahead with this one. And now let's see about placing down the warehouse to pretty much just cover over this little cavern here. And I think that's going to need to do it there, so let's go ahead with it and we will get Koa coming out to construct it for us. Now I would also like to place down a courier's hut as well as another builder's hut somewhere pretty close to here as well. And once we push back the boundary this way, I think this area here could be suitable enough for our very first farm. Well, very first farm for the agricultural district at least. Maybe I should rip up the one that we already have placed down and place it here instead. I'll think about it. I don't mind placing down lots of farms and all of those other builds, so maybe having multiple of them wouldn't hurt. I will think about it. Right then, Bob, where have you gone to? I am assuming you're maybe hungry at the moment. You're sleeping, are you? No, you really shouldn't be sleeping. That's a lot better. I will once again just supply him with everything he needs for the birch guard tower. As for Koa though, the birch warehouse here is of course going to require a lot of birch items as well. It seems that we are needing a hell of a lot of birch today, chaps, so it's a good job that we should have quite a lot of it somewhere. And that's Bob just finished off the guard tower there, perfect. And it has once again pushed back the boundary quite a bit, so we could put a farm down here now. And I have decided just to go for some new farms, so this one here is going to be of a medieval spruce alternative style, which here it is at tier 1 and at tier 5. It's a lot better looking. At least a lot better looking than that Space Wars one we have. And we will place it in very close to the new warehouse. I think this is an okay position for it. Oh, why not? And this can then be Bob's next project that he works on. Before we place down some fields for the farm to use, I think I will let both builders complete both the work orders that they have, just so that we can see kind of what we're sitting with. So Bob's farm is just a tier 1 building and it's very simple to make actually. So let's get you set up with this as quick as we can then, son. And to finish off Koa's build, he just requires in a couple more birch items and that's it actually. So I am once again hoping that our forester has cut us down some birch to use. Well, they are both now 100% supplied, so I will just need to assist a little bit with the clearing out of these areas. I'm hoping that these cave systems are not going to cause any form of issue, but regardless, I think we will just simply plug them up anyway. Well, Koa is now 90% complete with our new warehouse, so he is doing a great job there. And Bob is kind of making a start with the farm. We had a little issue there for a moment, Bob, didn't we? But all sorted now. Once we do finally get both of these builds up, we will place down a new field for this farm, And then we will also need to put down a new house as well, just for the farmer and maybe courier who will live here as well. I trust that you guys will get on with that, so I'm going to go over and make up a house build then and choose a style for it. Which the style of house we will be making is going to be of a medieval spruce style, which is the same style of build that we have for Koa back over at his builder's hut. Nope, I've changed my mind. I am going to veto that and we are going to choose another style, which we are going for Nordic. Of course we're not, we are going for dark oak. That's better. I want all of the builds around here to look different, not all be the same. Anyway, here is a dark oak house at tier 1, and at tier 5, not too much different. And I will place this build right beside the farm, right up against our boundary as well. We will need to make some form of stairs or something to go up into it, seeing as this is the entrance there. But anyway, let's once again just go ahead with it. And once Koa has finished off the warehouse, he can come out and build that for us. Which, that is just good timing then, so that's him finished the warehouse there, and he can move on straight to that house. Well, as I'm returning the block to a randomizer, let's go choose a new style of field that we can use, which is going to be of a fortress style. And this is one of them here, which is an interesting build, but we also have a couple of different alternatives. That gives us 2 fields, and this one here gives us 4 fields. I'm thinking about just going for the double field here. It's better than only having 1, and it's not going to take up as much space as having the 4. The only problem is, where the hell do we put it? You know what? I've just had a really stupid but brilliant idea. The fortress field has some stairs that take you up onto the second floor of it. So maybe we can do 2 birds with the 1 stone here and have that second floor match up to the entrance of this house. So we will get both the field placed down and some stairs inside of it to take you straight through into the house. This is going to look absolutely stupid, but let's go ahead with it. And that's Bob finally finished our farm. Good work, son. Now if only we had some extra blood who could come in and actually be these workers for us. But it's a start here at least. And Koa is making some pretty decent progress with our new house as well. And then afterwards we will get up our field that will lead you up onto it. We still have quite a bit of our boundary to push back here, just to ensure that we can get some more of these agricultural builds in. But this has been a promising start so far here today, so I'm pretty happy leaving it there. More of the same next time though, so I'll see you then.